Hey, Shuang here. Exciting news. We are launching a new series on this podcast called Learn with Shopify. It's the same great conversations you love with business owners, but we'll go even deeper into their area of expertise, like marketing, manufacturing, product development, and so much more, so you can learn how to scale your business. It starts in July on Thursdays, and it comes to you in the same feed as Shopify Masters. So come join us on Tuesdays and Thursdays this summer to learn even more with Shopify.
At first, art is not doing business and not about money, but art needs money to live. So that's the thing.
Oh, hello. Welcome to Shopify Masters, the podcast powered by Shopify, your companion for starting and building a business. I'm Shuang Shan, and you're listening to a very special episode of Shopify on Location, something that I got to record while traveling in Düsseldorf, Germany. All right, so how did I actually end up there? See, Shopify just celebrated our 16th birthday, and it got me wondering, who were the first businesses that decided to build on our platform? Well, meet Klaus Rothkoten. He's the urban contemporary art collector who runs the gallery Pretty Portal, and it's located in Düsseldorf. The gallery was opened in 2007. A year later, the online store was built, and Klaus has been on Shopify ever since. Today, we sit down with Klaus in Pretty Portal, with trams zooming by in the background. We chat about urban contemporary art, how to market a gallery, and how he balances the tension between being a creative and running a business.
This is such a cool thing for us because Pretty Portal has been on Shopify since 2008. You are one of the earliest people to use our platform, which is super amazing. But before we get into your business, you run a urban art, contemporary art gallery. In your eyes, what is urban art?
Yeah, well, urban art is a modern art form. It originated from graffiti. So most of the artists who came into urban art have been starting with graffiti in their early days, because graffiti artists they never were able to make business, and graffiti art never had the intention to go into galleries. So this typical original graffiti art that we know with the letters and stuff, the typography. Because the artists never made some kind of money, so they started to go into different profession. They were photographers, they were studying art, they were graphic designers, or made some kind of printing techniques. And so they integrated this new knowledge and qualities that they had into their graffiti and created something new. Added these layers to the graffiti, and because you couldn't call this really graffiti anymore, another name was needed, and so it first was called street art, but that was more a media thing because it was art that happened on the street, and so the media said, yeah, it's street and art. But the artists themselves, they called themselves still graffiti artists. So if you would have asked Banksy, for instance, what are you doing? He would say graffiti. Mm-hmm. But art historian and people like curators and gallerists, they said, yeah, well, it's not really graffiti anymore because it's going into the gallery now. It's not only typography, it's something else. And so then a new name was found, and this is called urban art. And today we call it urban contemporary, because many other artists who are maybe not have their origin in graffiti, but are influenced by graffiti, or have known this as a child or a youth who loved it, but came from a different approach to this art. They are more contemporary, and it's an art form that is now a part of the art market. We have art fairs which only show urban art, like the Urban Art Fair Paris, which is super important for this scene.
So like you mentioned, Paris is like a hub for urban contemporary art.
Absolutely.
And you're probably one of the few places that showcase urban contemporary art in Dusseldorf.
Absolutely.
So what drawn you into these art forms, and how did you make a connection with this art form?
Yeah, well, so in my young adulthood, I was doing graffiti.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so I was always amazed by this art. I bought the original spray can art book from Martha Cooper when I was a kid. Like when I was 15, 16 years, I had this book, and it was some kind of Bible for me in these days. And we were doing graffiti in that time. And yeah, when you do something in that age and you're really absolutely into it, and you're doing something creative in your whole lifetime, it always stays connected to you. So I never made a career as a graffiti artist in that, because police forces were quite strong in these days, and so the fines were very big, and so I changed into photography, 3D art, and different things. But I always stayed into graphical design and graphical arts and arts itself. I was always very amazed to see museums when I come to other cities, and I started to collect this art, a little bit of graffiti when it first came up that you could buy it, some prints, and then when the street art thing started around Banksy and all these guys, Nick Walker, I started to buy this, Obey for sure, Shepard Fairey and Fail and all these guys. Yeah, then I wanted to show it. Originally, I came here and had this place as an office space because I was a new media consultant. And I need an office, and I came here and I said, yeah, this is a super cool place to show my collection here on the walls. And then after just 1 month, I said, yeah, that's boring just to show my own work. We have exciting artists in the area, and maybe I can show them. And I made a first gallery show here in 2007. Which was super early for that time. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So to work with artists, to show their works, to showcase the pieces, to curate the thing. And and I showed all the interesting artists I know from back these days, from my graffiti time.
Yes.
The guys who were still into graffiti and graffiti art and street and urban art then. I was showing them here. And then it started to develop, and then first international artists came up, and made quite good contacts over the years, and it's still going well. And now I have a really good selection of artists that I love to work with, who are internationally known. And I've been to art fairs several times to showcase the gallery. And
Gotcha. I wanted to ask, because I feel like there's often a tension between art and also business, and artists who actually find success. It's the same kind of with music, when you find your small favorite band and then they become really famous, there's kind of like a friction, right? Mm-hmm. Did you find that when you were working with artists that you liked and you're saying, hey, I want to show your work, I want to help you make sales, or I want to help you showcase what you're doing? Has there been ever that friction or tension?
Sure. First, when I started, I made some shows, the first solo shows with really with artists who were super popular and very successful today. Street art became more and more popular, and Banksy's pieces started to get expansive. Many more contemporary art galleries started to jump on this new train, street art thing, and contact the gallery. So sure, I lost some artists to maybe art galleries with a longer history, or who were bigger and who had maybe also galleries in different countries. Sure, but that's how it goes. But in the end, it's a mix. So you got to find a good personal connection, human connection to the artist. You have to be absolutely convinced of the art this guy or this girl is just producing and showcasing and working on. this chemical things between people. It has to fit, and also the business has to fit. Sure.
So you started showing in 2007, and then a year later, you somehow found Shopify and you wanted to start selling art online. How did you discover Shopify?
I had a new media agency before, and I was doing new media consulting. And when I opened an art gallery, I knew showing urban art would be some kind of a real vertical market. So to find enough clients here only in Düsseldorf, in the area, would be super hard. And at that days, there were no art fairs, for instance, to find collectors and clients. And just having the gallery with no opportunity maybe to buy the pieces directly was really tough, because it's if clients they see maybe an artwork on my website, and then they have to send an email. Well, I promote my artwork online, and not only in the gallery on an art fair. I promote it online. Then why not give the people the opportunity to buy it directly when they see it? So okay, I have this idea. It should be really cool to have an online shop, not just maybe in the start, not for maybe the expansive original artworks, but especially also for smaller drawings, prints, and stuff. And then I was making a little bit of research, and it was some kind of a friend of mine. He just said, this shop system, and there's this other one called Shopify. And I thought, I found this system already, Shopify, and he said, that's quite cool. It's easy to handle, and it's not you don't need to work so much with HTML and programming languages and JavaScript and stuff. And so this is pretty easy to go with. And I said, that's good.
Amazing. Do you remember where did you ship the first piece of art to?
I think it was somewhere in Germany. Yeah, but international sales came pretty fast, like especially to England, because the English market was pretty strong in the days. I had some artists like LET, for instance, one of the first German artists working with stencils. And he was known in England at that times, and people found him here in the gallery again. And and I sold some pieces to England, but received orders from everywhere, like France, Italy, first the whole European Union, but then also sales to the States, to Canada, to South America, to Hong Kong, to Japan.
Have you also found people who've discovered you online and then they decided to visit you, similar to what I'm currently doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's there's lots of the clients who maybe found the gallery website and then saw, okay, well, there's a shop, and maybe out here in the area, they took the chance to visit me here in the gallery.
Whether you're dreaming of starting your business or in the middle of scaling one, we know that building a business can be lonely at times. To bring fellow founders together, we've launched our merch store, Shopify Supply. From hoodies to socks, you can represent your hustle spirit. Check it out at shopify.supply. That's shopify.supply. And use the code PODCAST for 10% off your complete order, and you'll get free shipping within North America too. Happy shopping! I want to ask about, marketing strategies that you have, because I imagine it to be very different. A lot of business owners on Shopify, they're selling mass-produced products, food, clothing, whatever it may be. So they need to reach a lot of people so people can know about their service or product. But for you, you kind of have to find a specific type of person.
Absolutely.
You don't necessarily need to talk to a lot of people, but you need to talk to the right people. Yeah. So how do you go about with your marketing strategies?
Yeah. So, the social media platforms are really important. So, because in a way, it's that you don't need to make a big marketing strategy with AdWords and stuff for big media campaigns. So everybody knows you, because most of people wouldn't buy even if they know you because they don't buy art. The people who are into art, and especially into urban art, They are collectors. Collectors are people who are searching for where they can find it. So I just remember myself when I was, I wanted to buy the first urban art, street or graffiti prints. They didn't find me. I had to find them. So I was interested into this art form, and so I was searching. And well, sure, search engines are important. You need to do good SEO so that people who will search you will find you. Social media, it's really super important. So Facebook was quite important a while, but today Instagram is the thing which is where most of the people come to my gallery, and going to art fairs is also important. And being on other platforms like gallery platforms, for instance, Artsy or Arts Fair in France or White Walls, it's also important to be on these platforms.
What about pricing? Because I feel like that is something intimidating for artists who are not familiar with business side. And then maybe for yourself, you were a fan of this art, and now you're put into this position where you have to price and sell it. Was that section of the business kind of intimidating to think about in the beginning?
It's a bit difficult to make a good pricing because it's in a way it's strange. Some artists they are very popular, and well, that's how the market goes. It's like they start to raise their prices, and then you start with other artists who are maybe not that popular already. So they have to start with maybe a lower price. And so that's really kind of weird sometimes to talk with the artist, to find the right price base, where to start and when to raise prices and in which levels. And because it's kind of a triangle you have to see with this, what are the collectors willing to pay, and what kind of hype is created around an artist. And for sure, it's also a bit intimidating because you have this thing that collectors often want to make a good investment. So which is something what I can understand, but in a way what I really don't like. So I prefer to have clients who really buy the piece of art to put it on the wall because they love it, and not to say, that's a cool piece and maybe a cool artist, and this artist could be maybe worth 3 or 4 times next year. And
for your business now, what is the proportion of online sales versus in-person gallery sales?
Bigger original pieces, I have some of them also on in my shop, but I don't sell them there so much because if an artwork is worth 4 digits and more, then people are still a little bit shy to buy art online. So they prefer maybe to come and visit me, or to have a personal call, or start writing emails and getting more detailed images from some parts, or just getting some more info about the artwork, the artist. So they don't just say, okay, this artwork is worth 5,000 euro. I see it in the shop. Yeah, just click buy and that's it. People have questions like, how will you ship it? But they also want to know a bit more about the artist. What's the intention of the artist? They can read it online, sure, but they maybe want to talk with someone personal about it. But the bigger part of online sales, it's like the prints and editions. So this is artworks maybe that have a price between 150 to 200 euros and 700 euros, something between that. And this goes pretty well. So, and I think from these prints and editions, it's already 50% of the business I'm doing through the shop.
Is there a process or like a feeling that you have when you're saying, this is a new artist and this is someone I want to work with? I
see something from an artist and I'm amazed by it. That's the most important thing. So because art is something about an emotion, you're hooked to it very easily. And I think if you see an artwork and in the first minute, not even 15 seconds, you know that you like it, or it's something that you want to be more connected to, or you want to maybe have it. I also have kind of an experience now what people maybe like. First of all, I have to like the piece. I have to be amazed by it or the artist. The second thing is this something for my clients? Is this what people would buy? So sometimes I really love pieces, but for instance, they are really super critical They're very deep, maybe a bit dark, and maybe not something people want to hang up on their wall.
So you were in consultancy and you had a business going, and then you decided to pivot and change into an art gallery. How was that reception from your family and friends when you wanted to do this switch?
All of them said, "Are you sure?" So, well, this thing is going well, so you make money from that. And do you really want to give this up and start something new? I was doing still a bit of consulting, but started the gallery. And then after a while, it was kind of a 50-50 thing. But I found out that if you want to do something really good, you just have to focus on that. Honestly, it was the consulting thing was kind of boring. Creating, for instance, a website for a client, for a new car, a model or something, and a campaign which is just valid now. And next year, the website you produced, nobody cares about. It's just like melted like snow. And it's something also that I thought, is it really worth it to put so much energy in it? And I wanted to do something that is more important for us as humans, as our society, as culture is the base of humanity. And so art is super important for us. At first, art is not doing business and not about money. But art needs money to live. So that's the thing. So it's like also many artists that are going to galleries, they don't have the intention to be rich or something. They just want to do their art and they want to live from that. So because they love to do what they do. And that's also a bit of my philosophy. So I have this gallery and I really love to do it. And I'm sure I want to make a living from that. But my intention is not to be rich or stinking rich or whatever. So just to make a good living, and but to make something that really fills me up and makes me happy, and is something that I really can relate with, gives me good energy, and I can talk about this always with everybody, and it's always interesting.
Looking forward, because I think you are always very ahead of the curve and you're doing new things that people might not be doing for many years to come, especially with urban art and also selling online. What do you want to do next? Or are there any plans that you can share for the future?
The gallery is now internationally known. Many people know the shop. And people have no barriers in buying online anymore. What's really important is to enhance visibility on social medias. But the most important thing is content. It's always important to find new, exciting talents, working well with the artists that you have in the program. But also maybe going back from these really very new media thing into maybe a little bit of old media, and making like books or documentations of what you're doing, maybe into the old media thing. And it's also very important. It's really important to really find the artist that business is running very well, and also what is good for the gallery profile, and for sure always coming up with maybe new exhibition ideas. This is super important because collectors watch for this.
To close off, I wanted to ask, what was your process of naming Pretty Portal, and what's the meaning behind it?
Yeah, as I told you, I was into new media and consulting before, and I was consulting some guys who were, at that days, about 14 years ago, you had this idea of internet portals, like portal websites, where you, for instance, I was consulting and administrating and making marketing for a website called hiphop.de, so the hip-hop portal for Germany, for instance, and consulting this thing. And for these portal websites. So it was in Germany, we called it portal websites. I don't know if it's maybe also still the international name. And so I thought, well, I'm consulting these guys with portal websites, and it's we are helping you to make pretty portals. Like this was the first intention to it, and but as the idea with the gallery came up very quick, I thought, does that name also fit to a gallery? And because in general it's like typical contemporary gallery, so they call Galerie Klaus or whatever. So
yes.
I thought, that's pretty boring and not so international. And as I had this idea of that opening a gallery with maybe feel like urban art, which is where international clients are needed, there has to be some kind of it needs to be with international thing. And then I thought, pretty portal could work well, because it's some kind of portal where you find pretty things, nice things, beautiful things, and so I thought this could work well. And I think for an online shop, be named Pretty Portal, I think that works
for sure.
For the gallery as well.
I love it. It has alliteration, and also it'll bring you to like a new, beautiful dimension. Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Klaus, for having me today.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Shopify Masters. If you enjoyed Klaus's journey of building Pretty Portal, please leave us a review wherever you are listening so the show can be discovered by others. I'm Shuang Yasser Shan, and I'll catch you next time on Shopify Masters.